Here in Ohio, you can experience all 4 seasons in one day. Right now, on this day in mid-April, obviously it is winter. Tomorrow it's going to be like 60 degrees. Why I'm not recording this video then, I don't really know. But what I'm going to argue here is that this 2003 Lincoln Town Car, my car, is the best bang for your buck, best value luxury car you can buy on the market today. So, first off, let's talk about the price of these cars. Well, you can get these cars fairly clean, fairly low miles, maybe low 100,000s, very little rust, probably $2,000 in that area, maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower, depending on the trim. But so that's a low price, of course. I mean, that's, I don't know, you could get old early 2000s S-Class for that. But the difference is, this car you can drive for a while. These cars are pretty much a taxi cab of choice in places like New York, or I don't know, wherever they do taxis. They choose Lincoln Town Car because they're incredibly reliable. They run forever. They can run through 400,000 miles, little maintenance. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong buying a Lincoln Town Car. As a luxury car, they're extremely comfortable. They have the air ride suspension, which is probably the ticking time bomb on this thing. You know, you could get a leak. The back end of your car could drag on the ground or whatever, but it's really not the end of the world because in general, they're pretty inexpensive to maintain and to fix. Parts, Ford, very cheap. So while we're on the topic of air ride suspension, obviously this car comes with air ride suspension. It is probably the most comfortable riding car I've ever owned. I know there are more comfortable cars out there, of course, but for $2,000 you get this reliable, moderately to very reliable air ride suspension. It rides like you're floating on, I don't know, the magic carpet. It's just, it floats along the road. I mean, for $2,000 and if you want a comfortable car, that's the way to go. So while we're talking about comfort, you have these beautiful, luxurious leather seats in the back seat and the front seat. They're extremely plush. You cannot really get a more comfortable ride for cheap, and also the seats will be in great condition too. I mean, for $2,000 even. So these cars were generally babied by old people, not stereotype, but normally to drive to church on Sunday, drive back, park in a garage, you can get them from an elderly person for $2,000 in that area all day long, well maintained, probably from a dealer. It makes perfect sense to me. So I told you about the leather seats, and obviously they're extremely comfortable. But another perk of having this 03 Town Car is that it has 2 temperature adjustable heated seats, as well as the adjustable memory setting seat adjustment function on the door, which is very German-ish. Kind of uncommon to see in an American car, but I think it's a really nice feature. You don't have to reach down, in between your seat and your door to adjust your seat. You can just put it right on the side of your door, and it's right there for you. So, also you have this beautiful, nice steering wheel with volume. You have your cruise control, all adjustable on here. It works really well for its age. You also have this wood grain steering wheel that looks really good. It holds up really well. In addition, you have this same wood grain. I don't know if it's plastic or actual wood, but it looks pretty nice. In addition, it has, a pretty decent sound system for its age. It does the job. You can upgrade it if you want, but it doesn't really fall short of anything that you would buy, off the new lot. It's pretty average, pretty nice. I know I've reviewed this car in the past, but now that I've owned it for several months, I have a better understanding of the car, and I know it a whole lot better, and I could not be more thrilled with the way that it has treated me so far. So instead of really kind of doing an in-depth review like I did last time, I'm gonna argue that this is the best bang for your buck luxury car that you can buy. So first of all, and I know I touched on this earlier, but it has this stereotype of being owned and driven by old people, okay? And I guess in many cases that's true, okay? The majority of people you see in a town car are old, whatever. But there's an obvious perk to that, which is the fact that these cars were meticulously maintained, probably at the dealership. You know, they weren't taken to so-and-so's mechanic shop where they did, you know, kind of junky fixes on it. But they were done at a dealership. Nobody really abused on them because elderly drivers typically don't, you know, abuse their cars. So all of the miles are baby typically. It's well maintained, and really it's, you know, kind of a car to drive to the doctor's office, to church, to the grandkids, I don't know, whatever. So it's really a great, reliable car if you don't have a whole lot of money to spend. So also it was the preferred taxi chosen by taxi companies all over the place. That's because they're reliable. They'll run for 400,000 miles. Some taxi I don't know where I heard this, but some taxi companies said that they would not buy a Lincoln Town Car to convert into a taxi cab unless it was over 200,000 miles old. And that is because it was just getting broken in, which that sounds outrageous to me because typically when a car hits 200,000 miles, it's, you know, time to go on into a new car. So in addition to it being the taxi cab of choice, the powertrain, it's generally known to be very reliable. You have this 4.6 liter V8, makes somewhere in the range of 239 horsepower, which is plenty for a big heavy car like this. And you know, it's pretty much the most common Ford V8 that you could get at that time. Actually, I'm driving right behind the Lincoln Town Car right now, which is kind of funny. But I wonder if it's an old person in there. I don't know. But like, anyway, they're very reliable cars. It's the 4.6 liter V8. Their parts are everywhere. They're extremely cheap. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer if you're looking for a cheap-to-fix car. I mean, but this kind of goes for any, you know, Crown Victoria, a Grand Marquis. And another thing, so everybody loves the Crown Vic, okay? Everybody loves the Crown Victoria, the Panther body. This is a Panther body too. I don't understand. It's basically the same car with more features. I don't understand why this car isn't as appreciated as, you know, the Crown Vic, the Marquis, the Marauder. I mean, obviously the Marauder is probably the most preferred, but, you know, it really should be regarded as highly as the Crown Victoria, as the unbreakable, fun V8 rear-wheel drive sedan, because this is the same thing, but it's a flagship. So again, this is Ford's luxury flagship sedan, obviously under the Lincoln line, but nobody ever compares it to Audi, BMW, Mercedes of its era. I mean, it might not be as beautiful, you know, as an S-Class of that era, but honestly, it's really not a bad looking car. I think the grille, especially on this year, is gorgeous. You know, maybe on the other years, I think the older ones, they look a little awkward, but I think they really got this year, this part of the generation down. I think it's really a good looking car. And also, you can buy this for probably a similar price that you can of, you know, an old, like an 01 S-Class or something. The problem is, those are going to have problems right away. I know Harrison's going to disagree with me on this because he's a big German guy, but they are so expensive to maintain. This, you can buy this for $2 grand, $3 grand all day, not really have to worry about it. So I don't understand the benefit of buying, you know, a 7 Series or an S-Class maybe get a few more features. They probably won't end up working, you know. So buy this, have your heated seats, have your nice luxury steering wheel, beautiful leather seats, you know, have plenty of room, and have it just ride like a cloud. This is the way to go. Not Audi, not BMW, not Mercedes. You're throwing your money away with repair bills. Drive this car, look like a baller, look like a gangster, I don't know, whatever, tint the windows, but don't buy a Mercedes, Audi, BMW. Don't buy a German luxury car, because you can get it just as good, if not better, in an American car. They don't make them like this anymore. Let's enjoy them while we still have them. Nowadays, you have these bolstered seats, these firm seats that want to just grip you. And it's really not the point of a luxury car anymore. This car right here is, as Doug DeMuro said, which you should watch that video after you watch my video, because you should watch my video. But Doug DeMuro said that this is the last true American luxury car, and he was absolutely right. You know, the seats are incredibly comfortable, and it rides like a dream. I don't understand why you know, buy a new, I don't know, Fusion or new regular sedan to lease or buy or whatever, when you could just buy this for $2,000, not have to worry about it, and really enjoy the ride. It makes total sense to me. So, in conclusion, this car, the Lincoln Town car, this is the signature, but I don't know, any of them, it beats all of the German luxury cars, and you should really seriously consider buying this car as opposed to an old S-Class that's going to be a money pit. It's not even going to ride as nice. This is the way to go. Best bang for your buck, luxury car, period.